Jenny.
I'm Harold.
We're the Wong couple.
Yeah.
We got married on May 17, 2009. So we're turning 5 this year.
What's our love story? How did we meet? And how did it end up in marriage? Let's see. we're over at our friend's place. Siyempre drinks, hang out, tambay, movie. Tapos maya't maya, nandito to. Nandun siya. Nandun lang siya. Oh, who's this? I don't know who this person is.
I think before we left, before my best friend brought me home, so I stood up and then I caught him stealing glances. I was like, okay, I think I know that. He was just looking at me, patago. So, okay.
So I offered her a drink, which she claims I stole from her.
Yeah, because I couldn't find my glass the entire night, my drinking glass. So I thought he stole it so that he had, an excuse to offer a drink. But apparently it was just my imagination. That's how we met. And then after that, started hanging out, and then it became rather frequent. People were actually surprised. Oh my god, they're always together. Are they dating? I said, no, we're just hanging out. Okay, so until I don't know, some months later, we figured, no, we're just not hanging out. So we became a couple officially. So there.
So
how did marriage?
I think it just happened. That we decided, okay, I want to marry you. So, we were just hanging out. Yeah, okay, so I said, will you marry me? She said, yeah, okay.
And then back to business. So what are we going to do next? Yeah, so we're going to get married, but not just right now because I wasn't finished studying.
So it's like, okay, we got a pretty long time to plan. That's how it ended in us getting married.
What are the usual challenges and that we encounter, and how do we resolve them?
Or not, the biggest challenge is not quite each other. Really, the bigger challenge would be all the people around us. Well, it's a bit of culture shock for the both of us. Some background to get an idea what kind of culture shock we're talking about. I'm pure Chinese. Well, of course, I'm not exactly traditional, because if that were the case, I wouldn't be married to her.
Yeah.
There's a lot of negotiating and diplomacy involved, especially in situations like that. So it's also about pakikisama. Making sure you get along, but at the same time, making sure that you still retain a certain degree of privacy when dealing with the other side.
Yeah, it's his side or my side. So you have to retain you.
So, trick is one. If you're going to marry someone, I think you're gonna have to be sure that you're willing to get between your relatives and your spouse.
Yeah.
Or two, you're willing to spend some time away. You guys do your thing. We'll do our thing. So things like that. That's not to say that we don't spend time with on my
side or my side.
It's just that relatives, in certain cases, relatives are better in very small doses. Okay,
so later on, maybe after first 2 years, I learned to adjust little by little.
Is it? Good.
Yeah.
How can couples make their union more meaningful?
Choose well. You don't have to argue about anything and everything under the sun. Sometimes we agree to disagree. Sometimes it's more of, okay, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. Either is acceptable, actually. So there are moments like that. But of course, we try to resolve differences. We try to agree on most things. But the few cases we couldn't, then okay, let's agree to disagree.
Right. So
Sex.
yeah, of course. Of course.
Good sex.
Good.
Oh.
You're gonna have to hear this.
You had to
You asked.
Okay.
Anyway,
We can edit it. Limit it to 4. But what's the fun in that?
yeah. Let's see. For me, what really adds meaning to the marriage, to the union? Hanging out together, laugh at each other's jokes. Mine are very corny. I'll be the first to admit. Corny ko. Tatawa naman siya. Also, being able to travel with each other.
Oh yeah, that's really nice.
That's a big thing. I mean, sharing common interests is a big plus. Just make sure it's not everything.
Yeah, you have to have your own thing going on.
We also have intellectual stimulation. So, not just physical. Sometimes just going someplace, for us anyway, find something you like doing together in the same manner would help, especially. I guess it's also a matter of pacing. If your paces match, that's good news, because at least you're not stressing each other out. One guy likes to have a rigid schedule, the other likes whatever. So that's something you can probably find out before you get married, and later on that brings additional, and it makes finding meaning a lot easier when all these conflicts are not in the way. Yeah. Okay. So that's for how to make it more meaningful.
Biggest fears in our relationship?
What's our greatest fear as a couple? One of us dying a little bit too early. The whole idea is that, of course, we grow old together and we'd spend enough time getting to know each other and all that. So, yeah, one of us getting taken a little bit too early is at the top of that list.
That one. And what else? Is that for some odd reason something goes wrong with us, with the relationship, and then you fall apart? But then that's a normal fear, I suppose, for most couples.
Probably getting too comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
Getting too comfortable with each other is also pretty bad. I mean, it's nice to be comfortable, but getting too comfortable that you tend to not see the other person anymore.
Take each other for granted. Something
Yeah, that whole taking each other for granted bit. What else? Having to work apart, as in really apart. She hates that.
I'm not comfortable with the idea of being apart for so long.
So the whole OFW lifestyle is not us.
It's hard not to be in sync, I guess.
So yeah, that's
pretty much
what we're afraid of: being too complacent, or becoming total strangers.
Getting sick and dying young.
Dying young. Yeah. So what's our secret to healthy relationships?
Love must always be intellectual. Because you have to understand each other's moods and emotions, and you have to deal with each other. So you can't be always, lovey, touchy, feely. You have to use your head. You have to empathize. You have to try to understand, why is she feeling that way? Why is he reacting that way? So you have to use a little bit of brain power for that. So don't go for idiots.
Relationships are not for you per se. It's always about the other person. Get it?
Really?
Yeah. What? So you married me for your own personal interest?
Yeah.
Why?
Bleep, bleep. And another good tip about marriage, say yes to whatever she says.
Yes.
Parents' home in the south of France. Let's get rich and give everybody nice sweaters and teach them how to dance. Let's get rich and build a house on a mountain, making everybody look like ants. From way up there, you and I, you and I.